it's Jay with Power 945 with Steel, and Anime Convention Video is filming this interview. We are here with the Miss Veronica Taylor.
Hi. At Conapalooza.
Yes, at Conapalooza.
Kingsport, Tennessee. Pretty awesome.
I know, isn't it beautiful
here?
This
is my golf course. My backyard. Yeah, it's really beautiful here.
Dirt cribs would be a great thing.
That's funny, and yet no. You can't sit down because all my action figures are here. That's like my house, my art supplies, my action figures. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So we meet here.
We meet here. We're good. This is why we have cons.
So the big thing is we were talking about one of the things is where you're like, I don't understand where all this stuff is on my IDABM, and people are
right.
we're trying to correct people if like I wasn't in this, so you can't edit your stuff.
I try to go on IMDb and Wikipedia and stuff and change what's not mine, and I've never been able to do that. So it's a problem for me because there's definitely some things that are not true.
Right, and you've actually had people show up and be like, "Please sign this."
Yeah, and I have to say,
"That's not me. I'm sorry."
Other things I say, well, can you bring up a voice clip, and then I'll tell you if it's me or not.
Right.
So it's hard too because of video games. A lot of times there's a fake name on the show or the video game while I'm working on it, and then I don't find out till it comes out what it's actually
kind of
called.
classified, and they don't want the name
I guess
out there.
so. I mean, who am I going to tell?
Well, yeah.
Half the time I go to work, I couldn't even tell you the lines I said while I was in there when I leave the place. So
and that's funny. Linda Valentine said the same thing to me. She was like, "You had said it so fast. When you left the room, you were like, what did I do?"
Yeah, because you don't have, you're not getting the script ahead of time.
Yeah.
So you're just in the moment and doing it. So you don't, you're playing the moment, but you're not playing it over and over in your head to remember the lines. So unless I hear it again later, I don't remember any of it. I mean, I remember being there.
Right.
So.
Well, what I was saying about it was like you saying multiple games. I was thinking, okay, there's Fire Emblem. But when we did a research, we was like, there was a Final Fantasy games, I think, with the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we were kind of heartbroken. And when we looked, I told him, I said, she was in Sailor Moon. He's like, I know. I said, she was in Sailor Moon. He goes, I know. I said, not Crystal. He's like, oh.
Right, because it does say, and it even says 1989 or something.
Yeah, it says
and that's not
dub.
true. That's not true.
He fanboys so bad. He's like, I missed my case and everything. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's not.
No, I'm in the now. The
Yeah.
now Sailor Moon.
Okay, so the dub Sailor Moon.
Yeah. And there's even some things I think that some shows maybe they were done a long time ago, but we dubbed them in the, let's say, 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
But it has the 1980 something, or I'm not sure why. I don't know how it got put on my...
Right.
Thank you for anyone who's written anything on there, but some things are wrong.
So that would probably clear up the issue was like the Yu Yu Hakusho, because you did the dub and Photon.
Yes.
Okay.
I did that.
Okay. Because we were talking about that. Was that the second dub? Was that the original dub? And it's like, well,
is there a second dub?
I didn't think there was. I thought there
We
was.
don't know. We don't know.
We don't know.
I did that at some point.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
That was
so-
probably in the late 90s, early 2000s. So depending on what that is.
Speaking of 2000s and stuff, going from an anime character, well, I guess first we need to ask of being Ash Ketchum.
Yes.
For 8 years.
8 years. I was in the first 8 years of the
first
show.
8 years, how amazing was that? I mean, obviously that's you're known for that, but
It was great to be part of something that people knew about.
right.
So as an actor, people always go, yeah, I'm an actor. And they're like, so what are you in? So what are you doing? And I could say, well, I'm working on a cartoon called Pokemon, and people knew that.
Right.
And now the same thing, I work every day on something, and people are like, oh. And then they just go on to something. They have no idea what it is. And most of the work is not very glamorous, so it doesn't really register. But I'm so happy working.
Right.
But whether people care or not is a whole other thing.
I think the greatest thing when he interviewed Nolan North is he's like, work begets work, and that's how you get into this.
Right. I think so.
Into the I guess the band, well, not the fan club, but the sorority or the fraternity.
Well, you can get into a circle of people that are recommended for other jobs.
Right.
And it is definitely a lot of networking in certain areas, and you certainly do need to know people. I moved from New York to LA, and it's very hard to get work in LA because nobody there knows me face to face.
Right.
And so it's definitely when you're working, it's easier to get work. I mean, I think that's for any profession.
That's any profession, really.
Definitely, especially artistic.
Yeah, and that, we have several friends that are trying to break into that industry, and then we have several, like he was talking about with Nolan North when he's at work gets work. How did you get into the work? I know with some people, I mean, they basically go to a talent agency and hope they get noticed. How did you break into getting Ash catching for Pokemon or get your name out there for Boys?
Well, first of all, I started acting when I was 5, and I did like all my elementary school, high school plays. I have a Bachelor of Arts in acting from college, and I have a Master of Fine Arts in acting from grad school. And then I've toured the country with a lot of acting companies doing Shakespeare, contemporary, and children's theater.
Yeah.
And then I worked on a soap opera. I did a Batman stunt show.
What?
Before that was my first kind of voiceover job, I guess. I did the voiceover for the whole show, and then we were in the show as well, and then did the live portion with talking to the audience and stuff. But I was working on a monologue for an audition with an acting coach, and it happened that he got a call from someone else that he coached that day to say, can you recommend anyone who can do a high girl's voice for something? So I was right there, and he goes, well, I just got this call. You could go to this audition. And I booked that for Central Park Media, who did a lot of anime at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And then because of, then I booked something else because of that. So, and then I was on Slayers, which is a classic anime.
Yes.
But because the people who cast me in that were the people who were casting Pokemon. So that's how
we didn't know that. Okay,
that's how I was brought into that. And then once 4Kids was doing that, then they acquired other shows, and I got to audition for those, and then so that kind of is how that went.
Speaking of 4Kids, going from being known for Pokemon, then totally turning around and being the really hot April O'Neil.
I think it was like that. I'm always like, God, couldn't she have been in more fight scenes or something?
Yeah. So how was it to go to like the iconic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
That was really fantastic, and that was like working on a real show because Sue Blue, who's an amazing director, would call in from LA, and then we had voice directors in studio. We had the storybook artists. We were all working in the same floor at 4Kids. And then we had rehearsals, and we got to really work on this piece. So whereas everything else is just right in the moment.
Right, anime's kind of quick, but you like a lot. Well, not that you didn't put a lot of love in anime, but it was like
different.
It's a different type of.
You're in a studio set.
Yeah.
You're in,
and we were all together in the booth.
That's
for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was
for instance, so it was
a couple others.
A huge different thing.
I'm trying to think who the interview said the exact same thing. It was one of those that. Anime, you can actually record one, they send the track to somebody else, and they might come back to you, and they go back and forth. Where you're in a studio, everybody's there, you can howl around, you can actually have your breaks together, you can feed off each other's energy, you know how this is going to go, you have a good idea of what's going to do.
That's right. And it's all budget, because for that one, we were all together, and then as the seasons went on, we then recorded one at a time because it was cheaper.
Yeah.
So, and then also for other shows that I do that are pre-light, sometimes I've worked on one show where there were 2 of us in New York, 3 people in Boston, and then Sue Blue directed that also from LA. So we were all, even though it was a pre-light show, other shows I started in New York, I moved to LA, and I still recorded by myself. So, it really all depends on the budget. It depends on the show and all of that. It's always better to be all together.
I figured it'd be more fun. I mean, not to mention that you would get, not only with that camaraderie, but like you said, networking with them. You'd also have that standpoint of, were there anybody that you would absolutely work with again in a heartbeat in this situation?
Everyone that I've worked with.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The thing is that a lot of the shows I've worked on, there's no way to improvise.
Right.
So they really, what's in the script is what they want.
Yeah.
So you still are working with people, and you feed off the energy even though you're really sticking to the script. It's just like theater.
Right.
You can't change the script. You stick with that. So so then you have a respect for people who can really make the most of what they're given. It's not just kind of like coming up with wild things that people are playing off it, which is a talent in and of itself.
Right.
So yeah, I've worked with amazing people, and we've, out of like very strict boundaries, we've been able to make some amazing things.
I was about to say, were you talking about working with script? You can't change the script.
Right.
Now you're in Sailor Moon, in you're Pluto, in
right.
Crystal, in the dub, and you're also in the Biz dub.
That's all the same thing.
The same thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So the question is looking back at what was not manga to what is now manga, how do you feel about I'm actually true to the real story now instead of
which is really, that's a lot nicer
yeah,
to know that.
To know that you're part of what really was meant to be.
Yeah, and it's nice that they feel comfortable. Like, let's just put all these stories out there. That's what was written. Let's make it happen.
Right.
I think that's pretty great. And I think for that, too, there's, we are who we are. And so you can't just cover it over or pretend like things don't exist. We are who we are.
Right.
So if that's
I'm
written
glad
into
that
a
you
story,
hit that. We're
let's
not gonna
put it out there.
Yeah, we're not going to talk. We're not going to. Well, everybody who's watching this interview knows what we're talking about.
No, but the thing is that you represent people as people.
Right.
And that's part of how we have diversity and equality and acceptance, because you see things on TV and then you start going, oh yeah, that's normal. Like, it's all,
right.
Everyone's normal. And so the more that you see real things, like, I come from a family of divorce, and my daughter, she comes from a family of divorce. I meet a lot of kids at conventions. They're divorced. And, that if we don't all just kind of talk about what it's like to live in two homes, when do we talk about that and find the normalcy?
Right.
But you don't see that on TV that much, for instance.
Right.
So the more you just go, oh, this is just my life. It's hard.
It's okay.
But other people are dealing with it too. And now I have a support group because I know, like, that's how it is. It doesn't have to be quite so hard.
And the thing is talking about people who come from broken homes, there's a lot of damage there. And voice actors like you have the opportunity to kind of be a healing kind of thing to them in a way.
Well, acting is about listening, and life is about listening. So I have that experience in my job, and it's easier to take that out to people, that it's about listening and hearing people's stories and just understanding, cultivating the empathy for it. And it's hard, but once you create the habit, it's not so hard.
No.
So isn't that what we need more in life, is people to listen a little bit more? It's all just about thinking of outside yourself and bringing people in. Like, we can't go around hugging everyone.
Well,
but it is a hug. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like listening is a hug. Like, I care about you. You're important. And if we take the time to just listen, then it makes a huge difference.
Right.
I'm sorry, I can't listen, but hold on, what? But it's not such a big deal, but you have to cultivate that habit.
Right. Now, I guess another thing too is, did you do the Digimon series?
No.
You did not.
I've not even auditioned for
and that's interesting, because she was listed on her IDBM, and I was like, that was weird, because one of the questions I was going to ask is, how was going from Pokemon to Digimon, because it's kind of the same.
Would have been cool.
It would have been cool, but
I was living in New York, and Digimon is in LA, so. And I live in LA now, but I've not ever auditioned for it. So
right. I still think it's funny, though, because we were looking last night on the IDBM.
That's fun.
Going,
that's funny.
how much stuff, and I'm like, oh, she was in Digimon? And
yeah.
Like, oh, no.
I didn't know that was on there. Yeah. So, at some point, I can't change my own, but I have to, hire someone to change it. Like, someone who does normal changes. It's some weird. I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm working on it.
Let's talk about auditioning. Was there anything that you auditioned for that you did not go that you wish you did?
Every single thing I've auditioned for. I audition for things all the time.
Good.
No, I audition for so many things that I don't get.
Really?
Endless things. So I'm lucky to have auditions.
Right.
So that's a good thing. But there's so many things. And I was talking today in the panel about the fact that I really try to commit to what I'm auditioning for, and research it and figure out who the character is, and as much as I can, as if I'm working on the show already. And then audition, and then you just kind of forget it and just hope another audition comes. Yeah, but there's definitely a lot, and then when you hear later who they chose or what they went with, and you realize it's not quite how they described it, so it's pretty interesting.
So you just kind of go on to the next audition.
You have to keep moving on. I work on something else, so I can't dwell on it.
So I guess the next question, because I didn't look at all the questions last night, or all the stuff.
I didn't either.
One of the last bit of things, because we try to stay not political on here, but in this day and age, people who we believe everybody needs to have a voice.
Absolutely.
And you're working.
I'm a voice actor, so I say, your voice is powerful.
Right.
Use it wisely,
right.
and speak up. You
right.
need to do that.
And you're working with
nerdsvote.com. Nerdsvote.com.
Yes.
Nerds. It's on that side. .com.
So it's. Yes.
I did a bling party with all my gal pals who are in Nerds Vote.
Right.
And anyway, I think it's just important that everyone make sure they're registered to vote, because if you don't make your voice heard, you can't be complaining later.
Right.
You got to get out and find out who represents you best and vote for those people.
No matter what side.
Yeah, and you know what? In the 70s is when the voter age went from 21 to 18. Around the early 70s with the Vietnam War going on, and everyone's being drafted, but they couldn't vote. And so it changed. It hasn't been that long since we can vote at 18.
Wow.
So get out, stand up and vote.
I did not know that tidbit of information.
Yeah. So I mean, it's all the more
today.
important to just get up and say, wow, at 16 you get your driver's license, at 18 you vote. Get out there, learn about it. This is America. I mean, This is a place where our voice still counts, and we can come together and talk about issues. It's not like being in your own little home and just, whatever, and then you just go and vote. It's about talking about stuff. We've been chatting about things here. I'm chatting to people at the convention. We share ideas. Everywhere in America is different. The needs in your community are different than the needs in my community.
Right.
But overall, we have to care about each other. Like we were saying, it's about equality, it's about the environment, it's about healthcare, it's about things that make us better humans. So
I think the biggest thing that we have talked about is learning to love one another again.
Absolutely.
Learning to love one another as just
it's about listening.
I represent you. I recognize you as a human being, and you're validated.
Right, and that's respect.
And that's just
right. And you have to do that. We're all equal human beings, and not just in America. It's around the world. This isn't. We can no longer think about we are America. We're all that matters. It's global. Mm-hmm. What the pollution we put out here is hitting around the world. The love you put out here is hitting around the world. It all has ramifications. You look at your cell phone, that wasn't just made in one country. No. There's bits from everywhere. I mean, look, we use that every single day.
We do.
So use it to send out, waves of goodness. But seriously, in reality, it's global now. Yeah. It's not just about us.
The strange thing about it is I really believe, even with people don't realize how small the world is. Technology has brought us closer and tighter together. And that's why I shouldn't say hate. Cyberbullying or any kind of bullying has always been a big deal for me. There's a lot that I know that got picked on online. Whether I'm big into cosplay, the cosplay community and everything like that. And cosplay is not a consent thing, but you'll have people body shaming and stuff like that. And, I know this is a huge segue from the political thing, but going on
it all goes together.
It still goes together.
The thing that always bugs me is like, well, you don't look the right size to play this character. You shouldn't be in that kind of outfit. You should not do this. What people don't understand is that those words, whether it's coming from in cosplaying, whether it's coming from somebody who's never done anything, or somebody that's just wanting to go and quote unquote troll somebody, you have set a snowball rolling downhill on this person's confidence that could disrupt not only their cosplaying life, but their whole personal life altogether. Right. And for you to give the excuse, well, they just need to toughen up, is not an excuse. You have no idea what's going on in their life, what's going on in their social circles, nothing even going on, anything like that. Every person wants to be uplifted or acknowledged. Every person wants to be, no. You can't just go ahead and disrespect somebody because you've had a bad day.
That's right. You have to think outside yourself.
Yeah.
And also, that's the beauty of, especially of cons or just dressing up in general. You can be anything you want. And there shouldn't be other people putting that boundary on you for that.
And you can technically take that one step further, where it's been in the movie industry, and even in the voice actors series, especially with Will Hughes and Lot Shyamalan's Airbender, where it was like, oh, it has to be like this, and it has to be like that. whatever your views are on the movie, it was like, well, they should have cast this person or that person in it. Right. They have to look this way and that way. And I'm like, why don't we just be happy with the person who can act?
Right. And where's your creative license?
Where's your creative license? Yeah. That's kind of
well, and also in terms of that, then that gives you, the person who doesn't like it, that's your springboard to create your own.
Right.
So rather than turning it in such negativity, turn it into creativity and create your own thing.
Right.
It's easy to tear people down, but it's so much harder to
I think that goes back to what you were saying about conventions. With conventions, there's so much positive love on that, and to pull that in, and I'm just love it. The shout out to Conapalooza. I've had an incredible time here.
Mm-hmm.
I've had an
We both
incredible time
have.
working with them. Seeing some of the cosplayers, seeing some of the people in their unique costumes that they put a lot of love into.
That's right. So many handmade costumes here. All homemade.
Yeah,
really.
Some of, I will say this: a couple of the Renaissance Fair people walked by.
Oh wow!
And one of the guys was in a very nice 3-piece suit, kind of looked like old fashioned, and a cape. And I was like, "Oh, who did it?" Was this person was with the Renaissance Fair, and she made this for me. And I was talking to her about, I would love to have that. She was like, "Well, his outfit cost about $900." And I was like, "Wow, okay, I wish I had that level of dedication."
I know,
or the wallet.
But that's the thing.
But I mean, they looked amazing.
Bring that out. You bring something so dear to yourself to this, and
you're willing to share it. Yeah, exactly.
It's really fantastic.
Well, going back actually on that, when we saw people cosplaying, there was a giant Charmander going through here earlier.
Oh yeah.
And all I could do was just look at him.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's my story. I know you had to do some love on that.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking back to Pokemon again. So going back to it. How many times has it come to you with so many people in so many outfits of coming to you in the characters from the shows that you've done, that you've voiced them? So, like for Slayers, I wondered how many Amelias came up to you.
I have some Amelias, not as many as Ash Ketchums. I've had a Delia, maybe a couple of times. Mm-hmm. Some amazing Sailor Plutos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then some other costumes, but Ash is a big one. And also like the Ash and Misty, and many couples come, and then there's the cross, like the girl will be Ash and the boy will be Misty, and then so it's just really great that people can mix things up like that. And I think that the imagination that goes into it is incredible.
Yeah.
So I do have one question that was actually asked of me.
Okay.
And this is I found it rather funny for myself. So, do you know the Pokemon rap?
I do not.
Okay.
I never sang it.
Okay.
I did the "Who's that Pokemon?" It's whatever.
Yeah.
Gengar, whatever. But no, I never did the Poke Rap, and I listened to it. But I was a mother of a small child, so I didn't pay a lot of attention to it. So my daughter was born at the end of the first season of Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
So after that, I was caring for my own.
Did she ever get involved in Pokemon? Did she ever get?
She and I both did Centric.
Okay.
She was very small. I had to lift her up to the microphone to do it. It was really cute. But she's always been around, stuff like that. She does voiceover stuff too, and she's incredibly creative. I could go on for an hour about how great she is.
You're right. But that's a mother's love right there,
Well,
everybody
agrees.
But what about Pokemon Go?
I play that. I'm very bad. I'm level 8. I've been level 8 for a long time. You know what? I just don't use my phone that much.
Right, that's how
so
they get that.
When I'm out, like today, I went to the farmer's market here in Kingsport, and I didn't think I should try to catch a Pokemon. I was looking at the vegetables, figuring out what apples I was going to buy, and getting a pecan pie. So I didn't even go, I should take out my phone, so...
It's just sad because there's like a gym and 3 Pokemon. It's sad because we know where it was
I
at.
know.
Enjoy the farmer's market.
I know.
That Pokemon in the corner.
Yeah, I just forget. I mean, I'm bad enough at doing social media things because I kind of like to just really be in the moment, and I don't... And then you're like, oh, shit, I should have tagged this, and I just put my phone away. So I'm working on that. But Pokemon Go, I love having it.
I'd rather follow your path because my phone is sitting right here at Must See because it will buzz every 5 seconds. And I mean, it's bad when our cameraman has to even go, off.
Yeah, but you're trying to coordinate stuff, so you're working, man. I'm working too, but my work is different.
There is a funny story I have to tell you about because it come to my mind. Mm-hmm. The station is 5 years old this year, and thanks to our subscribers and our listeners for making it awesome. The very first, one of the second raves we did was at a place called Chattacon. Uh-huh. And we played, there was hardly anybody in there, but this kid made our night. Yeah. And I wished I could get the footage to ACV so they could put it in there so that but basically, we had a little kid dressed up as Ash.
Oh, no way.
And we played the dubstep version of Pokemon. Yeah. And he was like floor whopping. And he was in it, and we were just like,
electric boogaloo, all the stuff. And also when the beat dropped, he froze.
And then just
dropped, and he just dropped in a robotic stance to the floor like he knew what we were about to play.
And it was just amazing. This kid could not have been more than 8 years old.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was the most adorable thing ever. And so, coming full circle from seeing that to actually interviewing someone that he would like, oh my God, for, it's just amazing. So,
in which I was hoping they continue, Crystal.
And I don't know what's happening with that. I can honestly tell you, I have no idea.
And I was hoping because a lot of people were hoping that, well, what about the Star Series? You're just going to leave the Star Series out there? Because, I mean, a lot of people, there was the confusion with a lot of people were like, with Sailor Uranus and Neptune, they didn't want to have that come over, and now they're okay with it. Right. But now they're having this whole entourage in Stars is, these actresses are going to transform into women, and I don't know, if that's going to be...
I don't know.
The thing, and I'm hoping we're not that conservative. Well, I guess that's not the word. I hope we're not that prejudiced to think that.
Well, network TV is slower to get to things than cable, and slower to get to things than like direct to video or DVD or whatever. So there's things that can't go on network. That now there's fewer and fewer things that can't go on network. Right. But so I think telling the story, you might as well, or just don't do it.
Right.
You don't need to change someone.
You're either. We need to know if they are, if they're not, and if they do it, don't mess it up.
Right. I don't
because
know
the rest of Crystal has been true to the manga.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't screw up the last part.
And the animation's neat. I mean, I love the old animation for sure, but the new is pretty cool.
There is, if you haven't seen it, there is a side comparison on YouTube of the transformations for all the Sailor Stars from the original series to the current.
Oh, that's neat.
And they're both beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I really like both series, but you can see how the quality has changed over the years.
Yeah, right.
And I think it's funny too because the Sailor Scouts transformations for the Outer Scouts, like Pluto and all that, relatively stayed the same from the original.
Oh, interesting.
They stayed kind of the same. Yeah. But I still joke. So if you hang out with Amanda Miller, I always joke. I even told Linda Valentine this, and she was like, "Jupiter always had everything." But she was like, because as she was always doing the twirl, you got side boob.
Interesting.
You did because it's just the way it was, and she was like, "Jupiter always had everything." And I told Amanda Miller that. Amanda Miller was like, "Yeah, they kept that in."
Wow.
She was like, yeah, well, I still do this. She was like, I feel dirty.
Yeah. It's weird. It's a kid's show. And it's
a kid's show, but I mean, it's still really good, and it has some really great stuff. And,
yeah, totally.
So another animation that's on your Wikipedia, it's a Responsible Captain Tyler.
Yeah, I did that. Okay. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was one of my early ones that I really enjoyed. Like I said, I was a Slayers fan and Responsible Captain Tyler. Those were mine. That I grew up with.
So, that was a neat show.
Yeah,
definitely.
I was going to say that was one of them that you were in the studio, or that was another one that you.
We were in the studio.
Okay.
Nobody has been doing things like recording stuff at home until recently.
Okay.
Other things you had to be right there. Well, so the older one, if you left in the middle of it, you were replaced. So, no, all of that. I just do some stuff now in my home studio that I can do pre-lay. Okay. But to picture, generally, you're in the studio.
I always loved those things because there was a few things in clips. This shows you how long I've been watching this, like VHS tapes and stuff like that, where you would see everybody in the studio together doing their things. When I spoke with Nolan North, and he did a couple of voices for us. of doing that.
You fanboyed.
Okay,
hard.
I fanboyed hard. Let me clear this up before he puts me on tape here. I fanboyed hard after. I almost did on tape. I was doing the best I could. Right. But since he wants to bury me into the proverbial bus right now.
Hey, now I lost my crap with Linda Ballantyne and the Sailor Scouts. I cried and they stopped the
You
line.
cried here too. He don't let him fool you. I'm gonna throw him right now.
I did. I cried because I thought because I have the original VHS tapes of the S series.
Yeah.
With the Outer Scouts, and I thought that you were in that, and I thought I had the VHS tape at home. I want it signed, but I didn't know that you had not been in there.
Right.
And so that's what I was crying about. I was like, "Oh my god!" Because I had the other Scouts; they all signed.
Oh, that's so neat.
And so you know, that's a whole other story.
It makes a difference. You need the original cast.
Yeah, it was the original cast. It was so nice.
That's cool.
See, and that like I said, that's his. For me, I was going to cut together Slayers. If I knew that, I wish I knew that ahead of time. I'd have probably bought so much stuff.
Another time.
Oh, there will be.
There will be another time. We are not leaving this business anytime soon.
Captain Tyler, and in other things that were from when you were growing up, like Slayers, Captain Tyler. I don't think so.
Yeah.
That just about things that you loved when you were. That's where I think we were.
Yeah, so on the VHS, like I said, they would show some of them, all of you in the studio, or some of you in the studio, different things like that.
Yeah.
Nolan North, like I said, he did a couple of voices on that, and he was talking about how some of them do that, and the networking work that we were talking about earlier. From those days, do you still communicate or talk with some of the people?
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Because we all knew each other, we just didn't work in the room at the same time. But we'd pass, like especially working on all those shows for Saturday morning cartoons at 4Kids, then we would, you finish one session and then you're going to another one, so you see people in the hall, and then we had there were a bunch of studios there at the same time. So, yeah, it was good. It was great, actually. Good times.
Probably going to have to let you go, which
we really don't want to, but it's been so nice.
Oh, we better do it before the sun goes down.
Yes, the sun goes down. It's getting cool, and I'm hungry.
And the bats come out on my golf course.
Yes, on your golf course.
And I don't mean the people coming to the convention. I actually mean bats.
The bats. Oh, okay.
But it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
This is so nice. It's so nice to really have time to just sit and chat.
It is nice.
We like doing this with a lot of the voice actors and actresses because it's fun for the people at View, it's fun for us, and we want to give back to everybody. But it's more of a communication of give. Ours is delivery. Power 945 is going strong. We're very proud of what we do. Check out our page. Please check out Nerd Vote.
Yeah, check out
nerdvote.com can help to figure out where to register to vote.
That's right.
I think vote.org, isn't that the other?
Yeah, vote.org.
Just go in there and find out if you're registered, because there's so many problems right now. People think they're registered, but they've been kicked off the voter roll. So you want to go on and right now check before registration ends, which is coming up soon.
Right.
But you want to just make sure that all your information is correct. There's a lot of problems right now, so you want to check yourself before you wreck yourself. You know what I'm saying?
The biggest thing, the other biggest thing is too is like Still said, it's at Power 945 on Facebook. You can find us there. Instagram Power 945 Radio. Follow us there. We do rapid fire photos when we're at cons because it's simple and easy to do. So that's good. Check out Anime Convention Video. And also thank you to Conapalooza, Rob Metcalf, and Battlecat. Thanks for letting us be a guest this year for the second time around, having an interview with another guest actress, voice actress, and it's amazing. And also, since this con was sponsored, thanks to Dr. Enough.
Because you can never get enough. I think if that's not their phrase,
that is their phrase.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it says
you can never get
enough is enough.
Enough is never enough.
What I think
I'm gonna be happy with this.
Yeah.
But thank you guys. See you next time. Next con.